In the early 2000s, the world was captivated by the idea of commercial space travel. The idea seemed like something out of science fiction. Ordinary people in their own spacecraft, experiencing weightlessness and looking down at Earth from space. The person who dreamed of turning this sci-fi fantasy into a reality? Richard Branson, the bold British billionaire behind the Virgin Group. He launched Virgin Galactic with an ambitious vision, a future where space was not just for astronauts or government-funded missions, but for anyone who could afford it. The goal was simple: create the world's first commercial space line, making space tourism available to the masses. But the road from dream to reality has been anything but smooth. What was once a promising venture has faced numerous setbacks: tragic accidents, delays, technical hurdles, and sky-high costs. So what exactly happened to Virgin Galactic? And where does it stand today? Let's dive deeper into this fascinating journey. In 2004, Richard Branson announced his intention to build a commercial space tourism company under the Virgin brand. Virgin Galactic was born with the vision of creating a completely new market. It wasn't just about sending astronauts into space. It was about creating an entirely new class of travelers, people who could afford to pay for the experience of space travel. Branson partnered with renowned aerospace engineer Burt Rutan, who had already designed the world's first private spacecraft, Spaceship One, which had successfully completed suborbital flights in 2004. Virgin Galactic aimed to take that innovation to the next level with the development of Spaceship Two, larger, safer, and capable of carrying paying passengers. At the outset, the idea was wildly exciting. Virgin Galactic sold tickets to hundreds of early customers, all eager to be among the first civilians to go to space. The price for a ticket was steep, around $200,000 to $250,000. But that didn't stop people from signing up. Some of the most influential figures in business, entertainment, and technology became part of the space tourism dream. The excitement surrounding Virgin Galactic was palpable, and the company's promise to bring space tourism to the mainstream was as thrilling as it was revolutionary. However, creating a commercial spacecraft wasn't as simple as it sounded. The development of Spaceship Two was far more complicated than anyone expected. As it turned out, building a reusable spaceplane that could carry passengers safely was fraught with challenges, both technical and financial. Virgin Galactic's timeline for launching commercial flights was pushed back multiple times. They faced engineering challenges with Spaceship Two's design, delays in testing, and difficulties in developing a reliable, safe propulsion system. The delays frustrated not only customers but also investors, who were beginning to wonder if the company could ever deliver on its ambitious promises. Still, Richard Branson remained hopeful, often citing that space travel requires long-term planning and patience. But the delays weren't just about technology, they were about ensuring safety. In a high-risk industry like space travel, safety couldn't be taken for granted. It would take years of rigorous testing, refinement, and troubleshooting before the spacecraft was ready for the big moment. It wasn't just a matter of making it to space. It was about making it there safely and coming back. Then, in 2014, tragedy struck. The world watched in shock as Virgin Galactic's Spaceship Two, named VSS Enterprise, crashed during a test flight over the Mojave Desert, killing pilot Michael Alsbury and injuring his colleague Peter Siebold. The accident was a devastating blow not just to Virgin Galactic, but to the entire fledgling space tourism industry. The crash raised serious concerns about the safety of private space flights. Investigations revealed that the failure occurred during a test of the spacecraft's new feathering system, a crucial mechanism designed to slow the spacecraft during re-entry. The premature deployment of this system caused the spacecraft to break apart mid-flight. The loss was heartbreaking for everyone involved. Branson, visibly shaken, vowed to learn from the accident and rebuild. But the crash also made it clear that commercial space travel wasn't without significant risk. While other industries like aviation had spent decades refining safety standards, private spaceflight was still in its infancy, and Virgin Galactic had to face the harsh reality that making space travel safe for civilians would take more time, more testing, and more investment than anyone initially expected. After the crash, Virgin Galactic took a step back to reassess its plans. The company announced that it would take as much time as necessary to rebuild Spaceship Two and ensure that it was as safe as possible. Instead of rushing to launch, they focused on improving the spacecraft's design, reinforcing safety features, and conducting a rigorous series of test flights. Under the leadership of Branson and a newly strengthened engineering team, Virgin Galactic worked tirelessly on the next iteration of the spacecraft, VSS Unity. This new design incorporated lessons learned from the crash and focused on making the spacecraft not only more reliable but also safer. The company knew that to regain public confidence and stay in the game, they had to show that they could get it right. The rebuilding process wasn't just about the spacecraft itself, though. Virgin Galactic also invested heavily in training pilots, refining flight protocols, and making sure their entire operation was as safe as possible. It would be years before the company was ready to fly again, but Branson never lost faith that space tourism could become a reality, just not on the timeline they originally imagined. Finally, in 2021, Virgin Galactic reached a pivotal moment. After years of setbacks, testing, and improvement, VSS Unity took to the skies for a test flight with Richard Branson himself on board. On July 11, 2021, Branson, along with 3 other crew members, flew to the edge of space, completing a historic suborbital flight. The flight reached an altitude of about 53 miles above Earth, just past the Kármán line, where passengers could experience a few minutes of weightlessness and see the curvature of the Earth from space. Branson's flight was a huge moment for both Virgin Galactic and the entire commercial spaceflight industry. It was a tangible symbol that space tourism was no longer just a dream. It was real. This flight was a victory for Virgin Galactic, but it also marked the beginning of a new chapter. While Branson's flight garnered worldwide media attention and helped drum up interest in space tourism, it also made clear that the company still had a long way to go before commercial space tourism would become commonplace. After all, this was just the first of many flights that would need to happen before Virgin Galactic could begin its regular commercial operations. So, where does Virgin Galactic stand today? The company has made some strides since 2021, but there are still major hurdles to overcome. The pace of flights has been slower than anticipated, partly due to the need for further testing, ongoing upgrades to the spacecraft, and ensuring every flight is carried out with the utmost safety and precision. At present, only a small number of customers, those willing to pay a hefty price, have had the opportunity to fly. As of 2025, Virgin Galactic's ticket price still hovers around $450,000 per seat, a cost that keeps space tourism firmly in the realm of the ultra-wealthy. While this exclusivity has certainly brought attention to the company, Virgin Galactic faces an ongoing challenge. Can they scale the operation to make it more accessible and affordable to a broader customer base? They've promised to reduce the cost of tickets over time, but the question remains: how quickly can they ramp up production of spacecraft, build additional spaceports, and create a more sustainable business model?